Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is William. I'm a human man from Earth. I assume you've received my video lessons on human English language and have already learned it. So the time has come for you to meet my home planet. Grab your dictionaries and join me. Hello, my name is William, and this is a chair. First of all, what is a chair? A chair is an upright construction with the back and four legs, which allows the human to levitate above the ground. It is useful if you want to have a rest or to sit at a table. You see, the chair and the table usually go together and they form what you may call an organism or a symbiosis, because one construction without the other is pretty useless. Nobody really knows which came first, the table or the chair. For convenience, we could call it a chable or a chabble. However, nobody here calls it this way, which is strange. According to human history, the first chairs were constructed about 3,000 years ago in ancient Egypt, which is like modern Egypt but cool. The first chairs were much lower, about 30 centimeters or 12 inches or this much light years, and were an attribute of power, you might say, because only the rich could afford it. Also, if there was a chair in a household, only the father would sit on it. Nowadays, in year 2018, the situation has changed. Chairs are higher and more affordable. First, let's deal with the height. I see three explanations for this. The first one, people have become higher. Over the last 150 years, the average height of a human has increased by 10 centimeters. In the first half of the 18th century, the average height of an English male was 166 centimeters, and the average height of an Irish man was 168. Today, as a result of the world getting richer, the average height of an English male is 175 centimeters, while the average height of an US male is 177 centimeters. Now, the average height of a chair, or its standard height, is 45 centimeters, which is 15 centimeters more than the chairs we find in ancient Egypt. This doesn't quite add up, don't you think? Back in the days, most of us humans were pagans. We used to believe in the force of nature, like the wind and sun and the rocks and so on. But since the rise of Christianity in the West, people began to perceive themselves as no longer part of nature, but above it, striving towards heaven, which is, of course, upwards. And as the popularity of Christianity increased, chair became higher. No longer was it acceptable to be sitting on the ground like animals do, or like the Chinese, the Koreans do. You see, Christianity implies that we're divine and conscious, that we're better than nature, and we are not animals. It is not acceptable to be natural, manner above nature. So you must not lie down if you feel like it. You should find yourself a chair. And the best way to approach this is to look at the East, where we can see that parts of the world where Taoism and Buddhism are popular religions or philosophies, which imply that man and nature is one and we are not something separate. Chairs are just less popular. You can see there are people sitting or lying on the ground, and it is not considered to be something unnatural or unethical or foul. Thus, my explanation is that chairs have become 15 centimeters higher because of, first, uh, the average human height increased by 10 centimeters, and second, Christianity, which accounts for a 5 centimeters increase. The second situation, which has changed, chairs have become more affordable. In the ancient times, only the rich people could afford to own a chair. It was an attribute of power and an attribute of wealth. But now you can see chables and chairs in particular everywhere, and you can go to a website and buy a chair anytime you want. And because of this, sometimes we take chairs for granted, you see. We don't even notice them unless they're not there. For example, imagine you want to go to a restaurant, so you have to book a table in advance. Let's suppose you book the table, you go to the restaurant, and they take you to your table, and there are no chairs there. And what do you do? As a human, you would be irritated because where do you sit? If you visit a restaurant's website, you can do it right now. You'll see not a single word about their chairs. So why do you expect them there? Anyway, what that means is that chairs are not a luxury anymore. You could buy a chair anytime you want. However, it hasn't lost its symbolism. That's why we have position as chairman. During the meeting, the person presiding the meeting is said to be in the chair, and this is also referred to as the chair. And we can see it everywhere in society because there's a difference between a teacher's chair and a student's chair. There's a difference between I don't know, PewDiePie's chair and any other YouTuber's chair, you see? People who've got more authority usually sit on their chairs. Basically, there are two ways of sitting, the right one and the comfortable one. When and if you come visit our planet, you won't find any night courses or books on how to sit. So let me teach you how it's done. First, distribute your body weight evenly on both hips. Your butt should touch the back of the chair. Bend your knees at a right angle and keep your feet flat on the floor. If you're sitting at a table, the best position for your hands is this. Basically, this is position number one. It is appropriate for school, for public, for dinner. And once this position starts to cause pain, you just do this. And this is, my friends, position number two. You just basically make yourself comfortable. However, you should avoid using position number two in society because it might be perceived as being lazy or not. What we want to teach our kids is that life is suffering and they don't come to school to learn about the world or to enjoy it themselves. So when a little kid is sitting in a position which he finds comfortable, the teacher goes to him and says, "Hey, little Jimmy, sit straight or your back will hurt." But what does the teacher actually mean is that, how dare you, little bastard, sit in a comfortable position? You didn't come here to learn. You're here to suffer. Yeah, I get that we're trying to teach discipline to them, but tell me, what is more discipline? Sitting in a uncomfortable position while trying to concentrate on the task, or sitting in a comfortable position and changing it as soon as you feel like changing it and concentrating on the task. Now we pass to the last segment of our today's video lesson. Because chairs have been around us more than 3,000 years, it shouldn't come as a surprise that we can often see them in pictures, for example. The first one, tables. Just random tables in a random city. No people. Second, people and tables, which seems more natural. Third, a woman sitting in a chair. Here's a funny one. Doggos sitting at a table, playing poker. Now let's get serious. The fifth one, Jesus, the one who is pretty much responsible for the chairs getting higher by 5 centimeters, is having dinner with his friends. And finally, number 6, we've got a picture of ancient Greece. We see that there are no chairs here, and although ancient Greece gave the world a lot of philosophers and scientists, they used to sit on the ground, I guess. And that'll be about it for today's lesson. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next one, and remember, Earth is more interesting than you could ever imagine.